Welcome to Chamber Talk, brought to you by North Orange County Chamber, where we explore the stories and insights of leaders, business owners and CEOs from various sectors who are making a difference in our community and region. Whether you're tuning in via podcast or joining us via video, we're glad to have you here. Welcome to Chamber Talk. My name's Andrew, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with Janeth Manjarrez, who is not only a passionate educator, however, she's also a tireless advocate for students and equality. Janeth serves on the North Orange County Chamber Board of Directors and recently joined our Executive Committee as Treasurer. She also holds a vital role at the Friends of Fullerton College Foundation as the Interim Executive Director, where she's advocating student success through innovative programs and strategic incentives. Janeth, thank you so very much for coming on here today.
Thank you for having me here. I'm so happy to be here with you today, Andrew.
So, Janeth, we've known each other for a couple of years now.
Yes.
We've been on the board. Finally,
Yes.
we've got you on to Chamber Talk. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You've been within the educational part of the world since you probably left school, even though you're still at school. So,
That's right.
So do you want to share a little bit about what experiences sort of influenced you first to inspire the type of path that you're leading to today?
Oh, that's a great question, Andrew. Thank you. My inspiration and my purpose has always been and my deep passion, it's rooted in equity, access, and community empowerment. As a byproduct of public education, I know firsthand, as a first generational student, and also, understanding low income and historically underserved communities, I wanted to make sure that I had access in building community and education for student success or for community success, right? It really, there's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child. So, as a community member, it is also our responsibility and duty to remain connected, to help our community members, our future leaders, and future productive adults in society, especially here in the North Orange County region, to make sure that they have the transferable skills and the talent and the experience so that they can continue on with their journey, whatever that leads to, whether it's empowerment, confidence, financial freedom, and continue to pave the way for those that open up the roads for us. Yeah.
Now, it's words that are often said, and in your field, the trade words are different than ours, right?
Yeah.
So when you say, first generation, underserved community and things like that, so the rest of the audience knows,
Yes.
what are we really talking about when you say that?
Yes,
please.
Thank you for saying that. I'm so acclimated with education, all these acronyms, right?
Makes sense.
I expect everyone to know what they mean. So when I reference first generation, it means like we are the first generational students to go to college. It means that, for example, I am one of them. So my family before me, like parents, grandparents, did not have the opportunity to do so. So for me, it was so important to make it a point to graduate from high school and go to college and continue my education so that I could continue to be a role model or a point of reference, because role model is like a whole another conversation for another podcast episode, but really to solidify the opportunity of like, yes, you can, I can do it. Of course, it comes with a lot of extra time invested in terms of how do I navigate from, wanting to know what do I want to do with my life? Mm-hmm. What do I choose to be or to do in my career? And then you have your conventional ones, like I want to be a doctor or a lawyer. And, career has led me from wanting to be a counselor to a writer. And now I am the Interim Executive Director of a foundation. I didn't originally, that was my trajectory, but I think with, again, with you mentioned before, just education, the training and my skill set and my passion to really serve and create a pathway for our students to succeed. That's, wherever it leads me, I will go. So, for instance, as a former counselor, seeing students every day was a form of contribution, right, of my sole purpose and passion in my professional life. And yet that I got into these management roles where it's managing like $50 million at, for Rancho Community College District for career technical education. It's like building it from scratch, building ecosystems and developing and designing implementations of procedures to help make sure that everything is being in compliance. And, I didn't think I'm like, oh, I want to do that as a little girl, right?
Sure.
So it just really comes to opportunity, this bravery of just saying, okay, well, we're going to build it together, or I'm going to build it as I go, and understanding what is needed and required. And why I say this is because as I got into the system of education, it's a system. And often we forget that, what is our contribution? What can we do beyond the classroom? So for me, that was making sure that everything was in compliance, making sure that all the funding was spent according to the legislation so that we can continue to receive the funding that was going to then funnel down through the classrooms, to student support services, that these wraparound services, what we call that, to make sure that not only are in the classroom, they're understanding what they're going to do next with that degree or certificate of completion. So for me, it was like going from helping maybe one student at a time to helping thousands of students at a time with these initiatives. So that's where I continue to remind myself that's what I'm there for, right?
And then how does this, I'm assuming, because it moves into it when you say like an underserved community, is that what you talk about when you talk about funding, because it then can help or give opportunities for those who maybe can't afford it to have further education?
Yes, absolutely. So what we called, and it's a newer term, it's also known as historically marginalized, underserved population, below the poverty line. That's a much more broader term for students that cannot afford to pay even tuition or books. Or, I have students that have been homeless. So then how do you help categorize those challenges and help them overcome them without necessarily giving them the money directly?
Yes,
so a lot of this legislation or state support is to help the college help the students, but you can't gift it directly to the student.
That makes sense.
So, providing those kind of what I mentioned before, those wraparound services that are going to say, okay, you fill out the application, you qualify under this criteria because you're low income, therefore tuition is going to be free for you, right? That's a way of supporting them and integrating those systems or those structures or processes. It's where I get to do the work for them.
And how challenging has that become for you now? Because obviously we hear a lot about the current administration changing funding, but then also, I'm sure the cost of running a university or a college has gone up in time. So what sort of challenges does that face for you as an educator?
It's it's kind of like the everyday conversation. I'm like, ooh. So for me, that's one of those reasons that it attracted me to take on this interim role at the foundation, at the Friends of Fullerton College Foundation, because it was it's private funding. So through the grace and the generosity of our community, by giving, it gives the opportunity for students in our college to be more flexible. So for example, I can disclose this, but it took me about 3 days to recover from it, where I had a student come to our office and just really crying. And is in a very tough situation, a dislocated worker, an immigrant. He was getting paid, was working and getting paid cash. Unfortunately, he was assaulted during at his job company, and long story short, ended up in the hospital. It resulted in a loss of eye vision, partially his right eye. Has 3 kids, couldn't afford his rent. And so every time I think about this, and that fuels me to think that we have thousands of students in our college alone. And to also understand that in the North Orange County Community College District, Fullerton serves the most underserved, below the poverty line, from our sister colleges. So we're a multi-college district,
Sure.
right? We have Cypress College, we have North Orange County Continuing Education, which I was formerly there leading the adult education block grant or California Adult Education Program for the entire region for non-credit. And we're still serving them, right?
Yeah.
The most underserved. So, I'm in the process of revamping a new established foundation that, dissolved from a former one. Mm-hmm. So it's like building from scratch.
Sure.
And so for me, it's important to, how do I communicate the needs of our students? You're right? Like this student crying and holding a grudge because I felt even frustrated, that this company took no responsibility. Now there's a civil case, right? The person who assaulted him is going, he's back at work. Right. And I wish I could say the name of the company, but obviously for obvious reasons I can't. But it's just like one story out of the thousands of students that required that type of aid or financial support. So I'm really committed in making sure that we create a foundation that's full of the labor of love, but it has transparency, continues to instill the trust in building those processes and operational structures that really are clear and transparent, are where the money is going, how it's being invested, how it's growing, and how it's supporting our students.
Just out of interest, the college can physically help with this because of some of the support or the aid you have, or it's just a case of you're just dealing with it?
It's sometimes the students will open up as much as they feel comfortable or if they want to. Of course,
right.
So I just want to be very mindful of that. And of course, by all means, I think all of us that are at Fullerton College and all divisions are there to help our students.
That's good.
And I feel like we do a great job in making sure that we provide that warm environment for them, and making sure that they feel supported, they feel seen,
right.
They feel value, so that they can continue to have that sort of access,
right.
and build that confidence and be empowered so that they can continue to
grow
on their journey. Yeah.
One of the things you mentioned, cause I'm gonna ask you a question about your interim executive directorship in a moment.
Yeah.
But before we go on to that, one of the things you mentioned was how Fullerton's college is one of the largest organizations that's helping so many underserved communities.
Yeah.
Is that because you're the only college or the largest college within this huge area of North Orange County, or is it just because there's that many just in our area?
So we have geographical areas, what we call geographical mappings. And so, because again, I mentioned we're a multi-college, so we have Cypress and North Orange County Continuing Education, NOCE. So it is within our area.
So you're like Santa Ana, Anaheim.
So Santa Ana, Anaheim. Santa Ana is more part of Rancho Santiago Community College District. So if we're thinking about just geographical location, it's Fullerton and its surroundings.
Oh, okay.
And Fullerton College is the oldest college. It's over 100 years.
Yeah.
Here in Southern California. And so its history, it's very rich and developing that love and commitment for our students.
So just out of interest, how many students does the college have?
So we currently serve about a little bit over 26,000 students.
That's a lot of people.
College, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
My goodness
so
gracious.
So every dollar counts, yes.
100%.
Yeah.
That's a good. So I want to switch a little bit towards like your leadership for the college and the foundation.
Yeah.
Interim Executive Director.
Yeah.
For those who are not quite sure what that means, let's go there first. What does that mean?
Let's go there, Andrew. You know this. I think we share this sort of professional pathway and rebuilding foundation. So what it means is just really being the leader and the head of operations of a foundation, in this case being the Friends of Fullerton College Foundation, ensuring that there is compliance, there are systemic processes, there's trust and transparency in the way that we handle our endowments or any other type of funding. We do have upcoming real estate that's being gifted to us, and just planned giving, donations, all those sources of funding for our students.
Now you've done
to help the college.
and you've done the job a couple of years now, nearly, right? Or a year and a bit?
About a year, yeah,
Yeah,
close
about
to a year and a half, yeah.
Year and a bit. So within that year and a bit, I'm
Yeah.
sure you've already started some new initiatives or had some accomplishments. You want to share a few of the top ones?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to really share with our community and our podcast listeners that we collaborated as a team and I know when does this get aired out?
A couple of weeks
Okay,
time.
perfect. So by then, Samueli Foundation will make a press release and formal announcement that we were awarded $3 million for the STEM, specifically for STEM students in our college. It was definitely a collaborative effort, and it's going through our foundation, which I'm really excited about. And I really wanted to highlight the importance of as I mentioned before, that Fullerton College serves the most underserved population. And as we may know, STEM stands for science, technology, engineer, and math majors. And a lot of the equipment, a lot of the professional experience or conferences or internships tend to be a bit of a bigger cost. And our students, a lot of our students don't have the capacity, the funding capacity or financial freedom to do so. And sometimes they get intimidated or they back away from going into these majors because they feel like they can't afford
It's out of your reach,
yeah,
right?
the
Right,
equipment,
right. Yeah.
the supplies, the books. So what Samueli is doing with this grant or this initiative is to really have that sort of financial support to be able to actually have the funding to pay the students for student internships, for conferences, for professional development opportunities, so that they feel confident and ready to put theory into practice and feel more equipped to go on to these jobs, hopefully here in the Orange County region. So that it's that sort of workforce circle of workforce development in terms of continue to have our students stay here in the Orange County region because of cost of living, right?
Now, do you see, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
do you see a lot of students go from the college and then they'll end up going to Cal State Fullerton?
Yeah, it's one of the pipelines, and we wrote it into the grant. We actually talked about it. We're the #1 feeder school. I know that our college president, Dr. Cynthia Olivo, has done a great job in nourishing our relationship between also new established president at Cal State Fullerton, Dr. Rashawn, and really created a pipeline to have direct access, having a center, and that Cal State Fullerton can come really and meet with our students and feel like they are there to handhold them through the process of transferring, because that's also can be intimidating if you've never been exposed to that. So those are kind of again, what I mentioned about doing that sort of work so that they continue to feel empowered and successful. That's one of them I'm really excited about. Just to name a few, but another one is that we establish, new bylaws, revised bylaws, guidelines for our foundation that was not established before, infrastructure, operational processes to make sure that we remain in compliance, because we do get audited, right? We're
course.
a nonprofit, we're a 1C3 exempt. Just really understanding the tax law, IRS, and charity and donation laws and how they work to make sure that we we close year ends, talking
Right.
about the financial aspect of it. That's why I was really passionate about, and honored to be seated as the treasurer for North Orange County Chamber. And support you in that capacity, right? To feel that you are just confident in the work that we do, so do you get to be that visionary leader that you are. Another thing that we're really we are proud of. I always say we're a team. We're a mighty team of 1.5 right now in our foundation.
That's okay.
We developed and co-developed with our college president. We wanted to create an alumni retention and re-engagement in our community for the Friends of Fullerton College Foundation. So we established a podcast called Siempre Fullerton College, and it's really for our community. We are a Hispanic serving institute. Majority of our students are Latinx community, that are like me, that look like me. And so we do an English and Spanish version. So our college president, we do both episodes, and she leads the English one. I typically lead the Spanish one, and we do some Spanglish. We're trying to expand to other languages so that, our students and our alum feel confident, but also feel seen, right? And sharing their stories of success, and that our community members can connect with them, right? Because they're one of them.
Yeah.
So just building that capacity. We're in episode 5. So, we're building that. I also want to mention, we had 3 major events that we hosted. One of them was with Apple TV. They were doing a series, so we made sure that that funding goes through the foundation. Again, because we're at 501c3, and this, and I feel like I'm speaking to the choir when it says here that we are a nonprofit organization, that even though we're there to support Fullerton College, we have to make sure that we support ourselves, because we're not fully funded by the college.
You're going to get paid.
Operations need to get paid. Yeah, exactly. So, but I want to make it clear that, our goal is to make sure that through the operations and the endowed accounts and the money market, and that's all embedded in a packet, just like North Orange County Chamber, just like St. Jude's. These are great causes, and we're there to exist to support our community. But everything takes hard work. Everything takes funding, and of course, everything takes cost and time. So it all has to be embedded.
You mentioned something. I'm going to come back to my follow-on question from what you were just talking about with the accomplishments and things, because you'd mentioned something there that I can only imagine probably isn't touched on much, but you'll have more of an insight. When you were talking about, some of the students and the things they're going through, and you were mentioning when you were talking about the podcast and talking about people being heard and what have you.
Yeah.
I think one of those unspoken things, and it's a guess, but I think it's an educated guess, is that I can only imagine how difficult it is maybe for an individual if they're the first generation going through college and they're doing well, they're also dealing with guilt. Are they making their family feel bad that they didn't do it and things like that? How does an individual get through that?
Yeah. And it's beautiful you mentioned that, because of course there's an aspect of that, and then there's an imposter syndrome, right?
Right.
So and what we try to do in the podcast is for them to really express that, give that platform, just like you're giving me this platform, like you're doing an amazing job in doing this. And so we get to do that for our students, or I should say our alumni, not our former students. Once a hornet, always a hornet. So it's really giving them that space to say, yeah, this is how I feel, this is how I felt, this is how I'm going through it, and this is how I got through it. So it's always, I share this with my sister, who's a mom, right? And it's funny because I see it when, if for example, she tells something to my niece, she's like, dismisses it. But if I tell her the same thing, oh, right? It's like the parent.
Yeah. So that's normal.
So we're kind of like the parent as our, we're like their college parents.
Right.
But if they hear it from their peers,
Yeah.
then to me, I feel like it sinks better. And that's why it was so important for my college president, Dr. Leo, and I to co-host this and make this space for alumni so that our current students and our community members
Sure.
can hear it from
Yeah, no, I
them.
like that. I think it's very, very powerful.
Yeah.
So switching back into
Yeah.
what we were going to, sorry, I went off on a little tangent there.
This is great. Yeah, I understand.
So what challenges have you faced in this spell that you've been in, and how did you approach them?
Wow.
Don't want to get you into trouble.
Yeah,
so-
I'm trying to be politically
Correct. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
And I come from a space of a wide variety of background of managing a multi-million-dollar, like a $50 million grant for career technical education, going back to my previous experience or former experience. I mean, I've led consortium comprised of also board members and with different personalities, with different scopes of work for education and adult education. So I'm well versed in understanding compliance, understanding operational structures and systemic procedures, designing them from scratch because they weren't
writing them
existed.
out yourself, right,
Yeah,
right.
from building websites to make sure that communication and you're centralizing communication, marketing and outreach, they're all interconnected in terms of transparency and trust. So I think someone asked me this question or sort of related, like, how do you get to prove your work? And I said, or your confidence or your leadership in this process. And I just said, I just do the work every day. Because, once you're built and you're consistent and you make sure that what you're doing is in compliance, it'll show. So for me, it was very important to establish that and allow time, right? Because sometimes we are so entrenched in like wanting to explain. So I've done some introspect, like I don't like over explaining. I just let my work show itself.
Sure.
And the time the thing to do that is just allowing time. Right? So that's what I just take it day by day. And I'm also very conscientious, especially at this time of my career, this age of my life, to say, do I take on roles that I am passionate about? But more importantly, Andrew, is can I do this work?
Yeah.
Am I the right person? Because I don't want to be in a place where my skills and talents do not apply.
Right.
And I'm doing a disservice to the institution and myself.
And yourself. Right.
Because we're like literally, I'm saying wasting time.
Yeah.
So I remember when I took on this role, I was like, can I do this? I do it day by day. I love what I do. Students, like I mentioned before, inspired me. They fuel me. That's the deep connection and purpose. Titles get changed.
Yeah.
Of course, I have a career trajectory. I have a family to support. But it all has to be encompassed and aligned because I want to get up and be inspired and produce, and that I have a purpose. And I also know that my job is my job, so that when I clock out, I still get to be myself, my other identities. I get to be Janeth as the daughter, as the auntie, as a friend, as just the student, as you mentioned before.
Support member.
As a board member, thank you. As the treasurer. So those are, equally important. And so creating that balance for myself, it's what I project a balance for the foundation and, of course, for our students in my college.
Now, I'd like to ask you a question because I would like to know the answer to it. And I'm sure some people would like to have more clarification. In a role like yours, is there a difference? I know I would say there is no difference because you're just going to work towards it anyway. But is there a difference in how you maybe make decisions or not when you're talking about titles? There's interim in front of just you are the executive director.
Yeah.
Does it?
I mean, of course.
I mean, in your own mind, you're thinking,
Yeah.
well, am I going to get the job, right? I get that. But I mean, is there a difference where you're thinking, well...
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference because then you have that sort of stability and then your vision, right?
Yes, you can sell your vision because it's your now vision. That's what you're doing. Okay.
For me, it's important to have we have our upcoming board retreat here for the chamber tomorrow, which we're really excited about. And then I have my own board retreat for my foundation next Friday.
Oh, okay.
So developing my strategic plan that is in cross connection with our college. So now there's a new infrastructure. So I mentioned before, I lead the Friends of Fullerton College Foundation. It's been established for 3-4 years now. It's a brand new one. I'm reestablishing it. I'm building it from scratch. So that's what I mean. For me, priority is implementing the foundation of a foundation, right? That cement that's like,
it's foundation.
It's strong and ready to build up. And, some people might say, oh, yeah, well, let's talk about funding. And I brought in this at like, okay, $3 million in a year and a half.
Right.
Plus, new estates that are coming in that are being gifted for accounting department, along with 3 installments of $178,000. Like, I can go out there and aggressively ask for funding because I'm in love with what I do and my costs, right? My students. When I'm crying because I feel impotent and frustrated because we are rebuilding the foundation and the emergency grant funds needs to be, increased so that I could say, I can cover your rent.
Right.
So, but before I do that, I can't ask somebody, hey, give me $1 million. If I don't have the infrastructure set it. If I don't have a strong board membership, right? If I don't have the backbone to support me, to say, hey, everything is ready to go, so I can go out to my community and say, please help us. Right. So for me, it's important to establish that and say, I'm aware that what my budget is, as you know, we have a budget, the operational budgets, and what can I make? Because some people have certain expectations and they're not as aware of things, how it operates, but it takes money to make money.
Yes, it does.
So that when we are in a smaller budget, we have to get creative. We have to get innovative. So I've been doing that for a year and a half. So yes, I would love to, go through the process and hope to be selected as a permanent executive director to continue that work that I've already established, right? That groundwork and being strategic about how we show up, meaning as the Friends of Fullerton Foundation, and say we are affiliated and oversight and I would say the oversight of the college. It wasn't before. Before it was a standalone foundation. So having that direct oversight and cross collaboration with the college, it gives it that extra comfort and transparency and accountability for the process.
Right.
As well as strategically aligning the mission and values of the college with the foundation. So the alignment is there. It's a seamless process. Establishing all of that, of course, takes time. And so for me, it would continue to be an honor to deliver that and provide that for our foundation and our college. Yeah.
So now that you've built up this foundation and you're building up, I know you personally, you're a small team around you, but you're building up your team around you, and you've figured out when you get donations where it's going to go and how to process it and everything else. So basically you've fixed you, right?
Yes.
So when you do become the executive director, okay, so come on, Cynthia, let's do it. But when you do get that, what plans do you see? Because now it's your dream, right? You've got to sell everybody else on the dream. I've had to do it for 4 years. I get it. But,
you did it.
But yeah, we get there.
Yeah.
So what is that dream now? Where do you see it momentumly changing from? Now we've got a house. Now what are we going to do now?
Yeah. So I think it's definitely a collective work that I'm establishing internally. So I think, one of the great things that I got to experience, like as I mentioned, we've known each other. I've been in this board for a few years. It's just like watching you take a foundation, or I'm sorry, a nonprofit to doing all of this. And so I know from you that it can be done through passion and commitment and having a vision. It's important for me to continue to go out there in a community and expand our endowment account, because then that gives more opportunity to actually provide scholarship for our students that are, in financial need. And that gives them that access to continue to be successful in their careers and just in life in general. And so having the vision to, expand the team, the operations, its budget, so that we can establish plan giving, employee plan giving. I developed already a process collaborated with our district, and then again, establishing that trust, like really seamless process that are very transparent on where's your funding going. You can always call me and say, oh, how much is that? Or where we are with that. That's public information. And we want to be able to provide that service and that comfort and that trust. So having that envisioning in my plan as I continue to serve and, go through the permanent process of becoming the executive director, we'll continue with that work on a daily basis. Yeah.
Now you mentioned a couple of very important words there, which I'm very familiar with after working for a estate planning law firm some years ago. So plan giving, endowments. Yeah. Let's touch on that for a moment, because that's one that people don't really let shun away from. Yeah. You didn't. You sat up because it's important for you. But let's talk about that for a moment. What does that really mean to those folks who might not quite understand what we're talking about?
Yeah. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Thank you, Andrew. So an endowment means like a set amount, whether it's $10,000, whether it's 25 in our college, like
a few
15
million.
Yeah, a few million. Please expand it. Thank you. Okay. And it's very specific on the purpose. So you're telling the foundation, hey, I'm giving you $25,000 for scholarships. Okay. For students in certain divisions and certain things. Now, I want to make it clear, as I've been in this work and moving forward, that it is our purview per California Department of Education law, that the anti-discrimination. We can be so prescriptive on
so only certain amount of description can go into your vision.
Very general.
Yeah, from endowments, right.
Correct. And so that it's our stewardship and our responsibility to abide by those compliance.
Of course, right.
And let the donor know, yes, this is your scope. Yeah. Other than that, we have to abide by
these rules.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which is what you were talking about at the very beginning. You have to fix that first.
Yes, right. I did, and provide guidelines and policies. It was like a month into the job, and with our board members who've been also very supportive. Good. And very helpful, and just also having that vision to expand on our board. And welcome more board members to our foundation. But
so that's endowment, particular, telling you what to do. Yeah. And then the plan giving part, just
so
cash,
or also what I mentioned before, we have a wonderful alum who is retired, unfortunately passed away, and left a trust fund account. Right. And the attorney who has a power of authority the alum listed us as part of the trust. Right. The benefactor of 3 installed payments of $178,000. Wow. Per installment, so that's 3. Wow. Plus estate giving. So again, understanding and writing and creating processes and designing streamlined processes that are going to be helpful and having all the signatures done, all the processes in place and in compliance so that it's seamless, and then they continue to support us, right? Because what we learned in that process with tax attorneys and plan giving is that they have a portfolio and they have people that manage multiple.
Yeah.
So if they're saying, oh, they did a such great job, they're really benefiting the students, let me refer them to another one. So that is my goal. That is my vision, in making sure that everything is done correctly and smoothly so that we welcome that opportunity.
I like that. It works, by the way.
Yeah.
We did it with a law firm, so I get it.
See?
I'll share that off camera with you. How to do it. Ooh, we could do that. So, so what I'm assuming then, when you're getting the plan giving, because you were mentioning how particular an endowment might be, a plan giving allows you to help the college where, I mean, who chooses that? Where it sees fit? Is the college saying, well, we need something for this, something for that, and then the foundation goes, oh, well, we'll give some to that and some to that? Is that
so there's some that where it's very customized.
Okay.
And so that's that customization, that service piece or customer service piece, where some donors are very intentional, right, about where it's going. So for example, what I mentioned with the donor that we talked about, I mentioned about accounting. It was for the accounting department. We just had, one of our goals and one of my goals to fundraise to increase the endowed account for Alfiola Endowment. So Coach Alfiola was a great and impactful coach for our athletes at Fullerton College. Definitely very passionate and well remembered, and with so much love and respect from our Hornets. And so one of the donors, well, I will not say his name because he likes to be, as he says, in the background, right? He came over yesterday and signed off a $10,000 check to meet that $50,000 goal to endow the account. So what does that mean? The more money you put in the endowed, the more that we generate an interest. So that means more scholarships get produced for our students and our athletes. So that's the goal. And everybody was I was so grateful for the deep commitment and generosity of our community that we did reach that goal.
Sure.
And now that it's from 25 to 50,000, and it's still growing because I'm receiving checks. We're very grateful. And then he paid an extra $1,500 to put a plaque for Coach Alfiola. Nice. And that's going to be now celebrated in one of our football games. So that's the level of love. So it's a circle of love, right? That we get to sort of co-create to help our students, and at the same time, the donors feel accomplished that they get to do that for someone who made an impact in their life, their coach.
That's nice. That's really nice, isn't it? Yeah. It's like building some slight little legacy there that's going to live on, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's really nice.
A legacy.
It is. It's lovely, that.
Yeah.
So with all this talk, as we're rolling through here, what are your immediate thoughts as to what's happening next within your foundation, if you're allowed to say?
Yeah, I'm excited. All I can say is that I give my best every day. I can publicly say I worked really hard and long hours to get it reinstated in 7 months. So we're now as a reinstated foundation with processes, with guidelines.
It's not easy, that.
It's not.
No.
So for me, it was important to do that because our students need it. How could it be possible that that the oldest college over 100 years has to have a strong foundation for our students that are that we serve the most underrepresented or underserved. So that's my mission, that's my purpose, and that's what I'm going to give every day.
Good for you. It's been fun, and we're starting to get towards the end of the episode, and we've got another question yet to go. So you're not off the hook right now.
Yeah. No, okay.
But I wanted to do like a quick rapid fire round. All right? And so it's just a few questions.
Sure.
And you got to quickly answer them. All right.
Yeah.
You can't phone a friend.
No.
Can't Google
Lifeline.
it. Nothing like that. Okay.
Okay.
So, are you a morning person or a night owl?
I'm definitely a night owl, but I've learned to be a morning person with a splash of cafecito.
I don't know what that means, but it
It's
sounds very
coffee.
good. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Good job.
Some caffeine in the morning definitely makes me a morning person. Yeah.
All right, good for you. So, what's your favorite book or movie? Or all are they same?
Okay, I actually have a response for both. So my favorite book is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And my favorite movie, or one of my favorite movies, it's called Life Itself. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Never heard of that one, but I'll
Watch
look it up
it.
now.
It's so good.
Life itself. I'm gonna write it down.
Changing.
Self. All right.
Yes.
I'll look at that.
Yeah.
What's your dream vacation spot?
I would say a mix of Oaxaca and Cartagena, Colombia. I think it has full of rich culture, food, and great weather. Yeah.
And like, are you going to be living out camping, glamping, or hotel?
Glamping.
Or?
I don't know. I think I am a combination of both. I
Alright.
can definitely do a full-on camp for
A day or two.
a day or two.
Right. Till
The
you see
rest-
huge centipedes.
The rest, I do have to glamp.
All right. Okay. I get you. Okay. Favorite hobby outside of work?
Oh, okay. So I love to hike. I love hot yoga, and I love to dance. And then another favorite hobby that I picked up during COVID was to cook.
Really?
It's so relaxing.
Wow.
I don't have time now,
Right.
but when I do,
You do like it?
I do like it.
Oh, look at that. Look
Yeah.
at that. And one fun fact most people would not guess about you.
That I was a salsa dancer and instructor back in my days,
Wow, look at that.
and that I'm a certified yoga instructor.
Oh, wow, look at
Yeah.
that. Oh, my goodness.
So meditate.
Well, there you go. That's
Let
good.
me know.
All right. So on that point,
Yeah.
I haven't asked you this question for a bit because you're working on it.
Yeah.
How far are you with your doctorate?
Yes. So I know I was mentioning earlier to you and the rest of the team, I actually passed my proposal defense.
Oh, congratulations! A round of applause there. That's good.
Thank you.
Well done.
On Monday.
Right.
So for those that may or may not know, it's I'm doing my doctoral program at the University of Southern California, USC, and focusing on higher education leadership. And the study or topic of my dissertation focuses on equity and leadership for non-credit education and California community colleges. And for me, again, I was an ESL student, and so I have a strong passion, and they're close to my heart. It's a little niche, or I would say space in education of the most marginalized or underserved population, that gives the opportunity for our international students, our immigrants that want to learn the language, that want to attain a high school diploma, that have access to career technical education, again, for workforce skill attainment. So it's very close to my heart. And then I get to be, I don't like to call myself an expert, but an expert in that topic.
Well, if there's nobody else who knows anything about it, you're definitely the expert.
Somebody has to do it.
You're supposed to do it.
Someone has to do it. Like,
Yeah.
someone has to clean it up. But
Right.
no, it's just, again, adding literature, because I realized that there isn't a lot of literature review about non-credit, and for at least for California community colleges. So, to be able to put that little extra stone in that process, it's very rewarding for me. So yeah, 2 more chapters to go.
Well,
Andrew,
well done, and congratulations for getting that far. That's awesome.
Yes, I really appreciate that.
That's
it's been
good.
definitely a sacrifice.
So Janeth, we've reached this part of the episode where
Yeah.
we extend the free mic time
Yeah.
to our guests. So, some people might have a story, others might be the topic that we missed. They just want to quickly hit on it or go back to something, or, just
Yeah.
a final message for folks.
I do, and I mean, this one I really wrote it down. I will say, fun fact: my undergrad is in English literature, and one of my childhood dreams was to be a writer. But life takes you different ways.
Sure.
I'm still very happy where I am now, so I like to write. So I wrote something.
Okay.
So it's definitely not a poem, you guys, but. It's something for our community, something for our students, something for, little girls that look like me in spaces that, we're used to seeing executive directors of foundations that look completely opposite of what I look like. So to be open to that opportunity, that you don't have to necessarily look a certain way to be that role, to be in that role, or to be in that space. So just expanding and diversifying, at least for my community, that's where also my passion and dedication lies. Yeah. So I wrote it down. So let me see if I start from scratch. I'm just kidding.
It's okay. Take your time.
So I'm really proud to share that I've been accepted to the 2025 National Community College Hispanic Council Fellowship Program, NCCHC. They have thousands of applicants, so there's a cohort of 29 of us. Will start in September. That I have, again, the prestigious opportunity to grow alongside visionary leaders committed to advancing Latina student success. And as you mentioned, I'm also entering my final year as a doctoral student at USC. And then just really thank you for the opportunity to share my story. As a daughter of immigrants, a first-generation college student, and now a nonprofit leader, I hold deep gratitude for those that many shoulders I stand on. Every initiative that I led is a love letter to the students who deserve more, and to the community that believed in me before I believed in myself, just like you are doing now. Thank you so much, Andrew. And just to them, like, si se puede, which means yes you can, and adelante, which means go forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in to Chamber Talk. Until next time, stay inspired and connected by visiting nocchamber.com and selecting sign up for news at the homepage. For more interviews, visit chambertalk.podbean.com.